We're also going to play the strange soundbite of the blackboard maven on Fox News who is implying that the Japanese earthquake may have been divine retribution for bad behavior on planet Earth. So let's begin now with the craziest of the crazy in clip 25 on the earthquake in Japan.
We can't see the connections here. Now, look, I'm not saying God is, causing earthquakes. Well, no, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that either.
God, yeah.
God, what God does is God's business. I have no idea. But I'll tell you this, whether you call it Gaia or whether you call it Jesus, there's a message being sent. And that is, hey, you know that stuff we're doing? Not really working out real well. Maybe we should stop doing some of it.
So in other words, Glenn, all of the children in Japan who got it were doing something wrong? Is there something wrong with this man that I don't see? Or is there something wrong with those who listen to this man that I don't see? Or is there something wrong with America that they'd have this man on television and radio who's now implying that God did this as divine retribution to the Japanese? Well, Mr. Beck, let me ask you a question. We heard the same kind of insanity coming out of a preacher, a television evangelist, Pat Robertson, about a year or so ago, and I roundly ripped him to shreds when I said, wait a minute, hold on now. Remember after the Haiti earthquake, Pat Robertson made a moron of himself? He debased all of Christianity when Pat Robertson implied that the Haitians were struck by God because they practiced voodoo. And I reminded the idiot that a good percentage of the Haitian people are Christians and that nature didn't discriminate between Christians and voodoo practitioners. And also, Mr. Beck, do you think God does this to the children on Christian school buses that somehow repeatedly go off cliffs? And what about the Jewish infants just stabbed to death by your Palestinian friends in the West Bank? By the way, with U.S. training, that came out today. You're not going to believe that story. The Palestinian heroes who broke into a Jewish home and stabbed a 4-month-old baby to death, stabbing the child in the heart, cutting her 4-year-old brother's throat and his 2 other children's throats, and stabbing their parents to death, were trained by United States military forces. And this is a part of the foreign policy of the United States of America. Was that Jewish child stabbed in the breast for something the child did wrong at 4 months of age? Don't give me this God talk. I can't take it anymore because it's nonsense. And let me tell you something about God right now, about my point of view. And I'm going to tell you it's this simple. If I believed that God was omnipotent and caused all events on earth, I don't know whether I would live another second, because then I would think God is the most evil force on the planet. I don't believe God is omnipotent. I don't believe God controls the movement of every leaf and every sneeze. I believe God is omnipresent. God is everywhere, but God doesn't control every event on earth. I believe that there are cases where you might say there's divine intervention in a person's life, but even that's a stretch. I frankly think that it's all chance at a certain point. He made the ball of wax called the earth and man and the animals, and to him it's the blink of an eye what's been going on. I don't think he's very happy with the results, but I don't think he controls every bowel movement that you take and every bowel movement that you don't take and every earthquake and every child that dies. And anyone who does, I got another guest coming for you. You're in very, very deep water. The phone number here is 1-800-449-8255. Do you think God did this to the Japanese and also all the Christian children on school buses that go off cliffs on a regular basis? And the Jewish infants who were just stabbed to death in the West Bank by your Palestinian friends? Were they stabbed also for something that they did at age 4 months? These are some of the topics I would like to talk about.